Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the X Podcast. Today I have on Tovey Blake from Ontario. How are you doing, Tovey?
I am doing great, Brenda. Hi, everybody.
It's so great to have you on here. So, just to give you a bit of a background, Tubby is the business owner. She's the founder of Above All Business Support Services, and as a specialist in business administration and just like kind of helping you with your back end systems, Tubby is here to create deeper client connections and lasting impact for you and your clients. She's here to also close the gap and on loose sort of processes and revenue opportunities. We'll talk more about that today. I want to learn more about that. And then fine tuning those workflows, right? So that obviously it's like you can take time off in your business, but your business is kind of like you're not working for your business is working for you and what
You
you want to
got
get
it.
accomplished.
That's right,
All
Brenda.
right, awesome. And we got connected on LinkedIn. I was saying that to you earlier. Like, I love the connection that, it's never been like sort of a cold pitch or anything like that. It's always just been about relationships, connections
Mhm.
with you. So, right off the bat, I just want to appreciate you for that.
Thank
But what
you.
else should we know about you before we kind of get into like what you do and how you service your clients? Like, how did you get into this work? Like, what compelled you?
Well, it really was by chance. I was a young teen mom, so I've kind of always had to have a second flow of income coming in for me. So when my daughter started in university in 2015, I actually started a new full-time job, and I was trying to figure out, what, I don't want to go back and forth in between physical jobs anymore, leaving one job to the next, but I need to have another stream of income. So I had initially always had been writing resumes for friends, and so I decided to put an ad up on Kijiji. And honestly, I just felt like God was telling me to do something bigger. And I just basically one lunch hour decided to get my license. And I started off writing resumes and kind of doing everything. I didn't know at the time when I started my business, especially from an administrative perspective. I just thought you did everything that you knew how to do. You didn't necessarily do everything that you loved and hated. So I was doing minute taking, even though I hated it, everything that you could possibly think of, plus resume writing. So that's how I kind of, above all, admin was started. And I can't believe it's almost going to be 10 years next year since that has happened. It seems crazy.
That's incredible. That's so amazing. And besides your business, you also have a nonprofit community. So I was going to tie that in somewhere at the end, but I think we should just bring it right forward because I think that also kind of goes back to like your vision, your mission around what your
Yes,
business is all about. But it's all about women building legacies. So I'd
yes.
love for you to share a little bit more about that too.
Well, I actually started Women's Building Legacies with my business partner with her name is Jovika Prince. She actually is a bookkeeper, and it's also my daughter's aunt as well. And I realized for myself when I started coming into the virtual space back in 2015, Brenda, there wasn't honestly a lot of women that look like me. And I started working for one of my clients that she actually runs a family office, which really deals with like high net worth clients that understand the importance of legacy, of trust building, and all of that stuff. So it really
Mhm.
got me thinking about women, but especially women of color building their own legacy that really goes beyond money. So for me, the question, what I want to answer with my Women Building Legacies nonprofit is like, what do you want to be remembered for? Not only as a person, like within your family, like what do you want to leave to your children, but what do you want to be
Right.
remembered for that people outside of either being a business owner or woman, whoever that you can pass down along in order to keep the world going in a positive direction. So I really want to eliminate, a scarcity mentality, especially. I want to create an environment virtually, and I'm hoping I'm eventually going to have a center where I'm allowed to have like a care closet where people can come, especially for interviews, because I used to do a lot of interview coaching when I did resume writing and all
Oh,
of that
right.
stuff. And so like
Mhm.
sometimes people, yeah, they have the skills, they want the job, but they don't know have the means to be able to buy something to present.
I love that. I love that. And I love your whole message about it's not just about building a legacy for your immediate family, but also what you're saying about for your community. And sometimes depending on, where our situation is, our access to privilege or resources or tools, we may not think that our community could benefit from something that we offer. But I think you're sending this positive message that even if it's like the smallest thing or the largest
Yeah,
thing, you're going to be able to, if you pay that forward, you're going to be able to impact your community
absolutely.
in a
And
big
you hit
way.
the nail on the head with that one about paying it forward. I'm a big person on that. Like one of my core values is altruism. It's like, to me, you can't take any of this stuff, all these material things. You can't take this stuff when you go, you know what I'm saying, Brenda? So you might as well put something and reap it. And so other people can sow from it and it's fruitful.
I love it. And so what compels you every day to drive these things? Whether it's your nonprofit, it's working with your clients,
Mhm.
it's being a mom. Like what is it that drives you every single day? You mentioned some of the things that you value.
Yeah.
But what's that under layer that we don't necessarily see all the time on social media that would just help us understand that a little bit more? What drives you as an entrepreneur, as a mom, as a business owner?
Oh, there's like honestly just so many things. I feel like, the time that we're living in is such an interesting time. Like everybody sees it. I feel this is such on a high, it's very high intense, it's very stressful. I think what
Mhm.
drives me is that I just want to see better and I want to do better. Like I think, naive. Like when COVID happened, for example, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be the thing that brings people together. Because what is a chance in a lifetime that we're all existing going through something on a global level that's affecting us
Right.
all the same? So I'm like, we have no choice but to come together. It only makes sense, right? But it almost did the exact opposite. And it was so
Yeah.
like disheartening. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, and I want just to be that person. That's what really drives me, is that I just refuse to believe that as human beings this is who we are. Like we're just going to just survive for the rest of our physical lives at our worst. That's what really drives me, is that I just want to do better and helping my clients do better, realizing that there's more than just to making a profit. There's just so many more things that we can be doing. And I feel, what a lot of people that know me will always hear me say, there's power in numbers. And I believe if you can get a lot of people thinking the same positive thing, it will work out and good things will happen.
And that's why I wanted to bring you on the podcast today, because anytime that I've interacted with you on LinkedIn, it's always been positive. It's always been encouraging. Like, we're virtual strangers from like one side of the
Mhm.
country to the other. I'm on the West Coast, you're on the East Coast. Yet whenever I connect with you on LinkedIn, it's always this like positive, uplifting message. So I
I
love that.
really,
And
I really do try. And honestly, genuinely, I know for some people, they're probably going to be like, oh, is that really you? That really is me. Like, I'm not perfect in it by any means, but I genuinely want to see people succeed, Brenda. Like, honestly, of 100% honesty, I really want to see people succeed, whether it be in their personal life or their professional life.
so one of the things that I've learned about you is that you bring this positive aspect, this positive value that you have for your life and your business into your business with your clients. And this is not like, I've heard this term before. I've always been in sort of like frontline customer service work environments in my corporate days. So this whole concept of client or customer stewardship, you talk about that a lot,
Yeah,
and you stress that even with your own clients.
yes,
So
I
I'm kind
do.
of curious, like, can you define that for us? Like, what is stewardship and how does that come to play in your own business?
You know, outside of what really, and I'm very much a person, for the sake of presentations and all that, I go into like definitions of what client stewardship is, but really it is, in my mind, giving your client the best of what you have to offer in your services.
Hmm.
Because, and it's, for me, client stewardship starts from even the people that might not end up even buying from you ever. And that's
Right.
where I try to really stress to people, as I look at this from the flip. Because what is, I don't know if you remember for yours, if it was the same for you, but I know when I first started doing my virtual assistant business, every course or anybody I interacted it with, and even up until now, the focus has been on client attraction. It has never been on client stewardship. And I
Hmm.
realized for myself that's the problem, because I'm not a social media person. Even though I do social media, it is mind-boggling how much time it takes up. It's very much an energy sucker if you let it be. And
Yeah.
so for me, I don't have the patience for the lead generation, thinking about the funnel in whatever way they want me to. I've just never been that person. So for me, I know client stewardship. All I know is for me, the relationships that I have had is what has made my business successful. And it's because I've nurtured those relationships along the way, even with people that have never bought from me. But those people that have never bought from me, when they've met somebody that they're like, oh my gosh, I know a girl that does that. Let me give you her contact information. And
Mhm.
that's what I mean for that's what makes it different for me for the client stewardship versus the client attraction. And that's where my passion and that's where my focus is on. And that's why I build my services around to try to help my clients understand that as well for their business.
And you were talking about this. So I love that background and that clarification. And you were talking about this before we press record, that you've seen this in your business because you've built up this stewardship, this relationship of nurturing with your clients. That and now you've got the systems, also the back end systems in your business. Number one, you get more business through referrals because your
Yep,
clients appreciate you, so that's going to compound, and they're going to share people that could benefit from your services. But you've also told me that you've built up systems in the back end that allow you to not be in your business 24/7, right? To give
that's correct.
you that reprieve, because like I think that's also something that I've seen a huge influx in. And we talk about, oh, we don't want to have a hustle business, and yet I see all the time entrepreneurs burning out. And
Amen.
even for women entrepreneurs, like the idea of like leaving our corporate jobs, starting up our business, I'm seeing them going back to corporate because they're like, I can't, I thought
Yep.
my corporate time was like consuming me so much, but being an entrepreneur is even worse. So how is this stewardship, building out these back end systems for you, like just help support you in your business? I'm gonna just, as a business owner going behind the scenes.
I can't tell you how much, and I'm going to tell you where the impact of stewardship really started with me. And I didn't even probably realize it at the time. But in the middle of COVID, my mom got cancer,
Okay.
and my
Sorry.
family lives in Edmonton. And so I had to fly out there. Perfect example, one of part of stewardship is knowing to know when to ask for help. And at that
Hmm.
time, I had finally said, you know what, I need to bring somebody into my business. And this was before my mom got diagnosed. So, right when she got diagnosed, this person maybe had been working with me for almost a year, but being in this and that and doing other things. But the timing could not have been more perfect because of delegation and standard operating procedures. My business was able to still continue to function. I was still able to do all the discovery and exploratory calls, but I wasn't
Right.
tied to my business. I was able to take my mom to every radiation appointment. I was able to be there for her surgery. I was able to be there with her consistently for 4, 5 months as she went through all of that. And that was the greatest gift that I could have never even imagined could have happened. And I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah, I love that. So that focus around stewardship almost said to you, hey, you know what? In order for me to have this business continuity, I'm going to have to look at bringing on people into my
Yeah.
business. And it just coincided with this
And listen,
event that happened with your family.
if you ever want to test something, if you want to know something's going to work, practical application is usually the best. And I couldn't even have planned it any better. It just, the timing was just like everything. But I was so grateful. And and the thing about it is that I didn't rush to hire somebody. So I was
Mm,
happy that I had the time to train her. Had the
right.
time that I just didn't have to settle for somebody because I needed my business to still function while I obviously needed to be there for my mom. Right. So, and stewardship really helped with that because I was perfect example. It ended up being my daughter's friend that I ended up hiring. But the only reason why I was able to do that is like because my daughter was willing to, even she supports my business. So she's willing to be like, Mom, I have this friend, she's looking for a job, you know, da 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 da. And I was like, okay, willing to give
Well,
it a
that's pretty
chance.
cool.
Right. And it worked
Yeah.
out. She worked for me for about 2.5 years. And I ended up bringing her on up with one of my other clients. We worked together there. I was her manager there as well. So that's what I'm saying. Like these things, that this is where the stewardship extends, right? And
Yeah.
it's a gift that honestly keeps giving, to be honest, Brenda, if you do it properly. and not like, you know, how you're talking about we've had a relationship, kind of
Hmm.
built our relationship through LinkedIn, but it hasn't been like that used car salesman type of ickish
Icky.
feeling. You know,
Yeah,
like I can't, like that, it just drives me crazy. So, and that's where these opportunities have come from.
I love that. Where did you learn this? Did someone like tap you on the shoulder one day and say, "I'm going to teach you this, and this is going to be the best investment you've ever made"? Or like, where did you pick up on this, learn about it, and how do
You
you
know,
continue to like do this?
you know what? Honestly, I feel like we all have gifts. You know what I mean? I feel like we're all blessed with our gifts, you know, and I feel like sometimes we don't listen because I feel, especially as a business owner, sometimes
Mhm.
we don't want the pressure to actually do what we're called to do. And I
Oh,
feel like, you know what I mean? We
wait, can
just
you
want
just
to be like,
can you say that one more? Can you say that one more time? That was
I,
brilliant.
I feel like the pressure allows us to want to walk away and not do what we're called to do.
Yeah,
And
totally.
right? So for me, I feel like this was a natural because what ended up happening, I realized probably about the first few years of my business, I started stripping things away, adding things, stripping things, adding away. And it's only the
Hmm.
last 2 years that I knew something was missing and I could not figure it out. And honestly, I kept praying on it, praying on, praying, and it finally came full circle to me this year. And I was like, that's it. It's the client stewardship piece. Cause I realized what I knew, where I knew that that's where my gift was, is because in all of my clients that I work with, even from me working in the back end, a lot of the things I do affect their front end of how they're able to interact with their own clients.
Yeah, I
Right.
love that.
So I was like, I get it now. So it's just honestly really come full circle for me this last year. So I guess that's really where my gift has been. I've always told people I've had a servant's heart, and this is how I serve, is like helping. I love being on the back end of things. I think for me, because I'm intrinsically motivated, like I don't need external motivation. This is
Mhm.
where it lies for me. It's easy, it's natural, it doesn't feel fake to me. And that's the main thing, is like I don't feel like I'm being somebody else. This is who I am.
Okay, so there's some things in here like just lessons that are just brilliant. Is one is just like trust your gut.
Yes.
Like really like hone that intuition, whatever you need to do, right? Surround yourself with people that love you, care about you, have your back. Because you even
Yes.
mentioned it, your clients like love you, have your back,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and like nurture those relationships. Like not everyone is going to be that way with you. Not everyone is going to be unique and genuine with you, but you have those people around you. Figure out who they are. Might be one person, might be two people.
Yes.
Oprah says she's got three, even though she knows like half the world.
Well, yeah.
Um, so it's just like know who those people are, nurture those relationships, do what you know. You can make a business out of this. I think that's the other thing that I'm hearing from
Absolutely.
you.
Yes.
It's going to take a little bit of work. You're going to need to refine it. You're going to need to pull out some of the stuff. Maybe,
Absolutely.
maybe the subscriptions, the stuff that you've been like binging that you think that you should be doing, you may
Yes.
need to
Shiny object
you know,
syndrome is very real. Shiny
yeah,
object syndrome is very real.
for sure. Quick fixes, shiny objects. We've all done it. We've all downloaded those things. And at the end of the day, it's like you know exactly who you are,
Yeah.
and just know that there's an opportunity. I always say this: there's 8 billion people on the planet.
Yeah.
Somebody needs what you've got. You just got to find that one person, right? And they're gonna tell you everybody. They're gonna tell their 10 friends, their 10 friends,
Yes.
their 10 friends. So,
And absolutely. And that's all you need. And it's exactly right. It's like you just need that one person. And I think people need to understand that, like, it's going to be ups and downs. There's nothing perfect about being a business owner.
right.
There's going to be those clients that you work with that make you think to yourself, why did I ever decide to get into business? There's going to be those clients. And I had to learn this the hard way, is that it's okay to actually let clients go.
Sure.
Sometimes it's part and it's imperative of your journey, especially if you want to fall into really doing what you're supposed to be doing. You are going to have to sometimes part way with clients, regardless if the money's good or not. There's some clients that will just bog you down and they will suck the life out of you. So you have to be prepared. Like, as I said, even before the call, like I was saying to you, like owning a business is not for the faint hearted. So just know, but I can wholeheartedly tell you this today, that it is absolutely worth it if you decide to go down this journey. So anybody that's listening to this, that's thinking to themselves, I don't know if I really want to do this. I don't know if I want to continue to do it. Honestly, if you feel like it's something that you keep coming back to and it keeps gnawing at you, like, what do you try to do something else, but you keep getting drawn into it, there's a reason. I'm just going to tell you that. And you might not see it now and you might not see it right away, but I would just tell you to still keep pressing in and keep moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Where can people find you and work with you?
You can find me on Instagram at above all admin support. You can find me on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn more, the best out of all the platforms. I usually meet and I'm on there most of the time. You can visit me on my website at abovealladminsupport.com, and you can email me info at abovealladmin.ca. So any of those, feel free to reach out, direct message me. I actually do answer my messages still. That's something that's very important to me, that I still have a personal connection with everybody that I interact with. Um, you know, so yeah, you can find me at any of those places.
Amazing. And we'll make sure we have them in the show notes so people can reference them there.
Absolutely.
And you gave us a little gift. I don't know if you remember what it was when we got this call organized. Do you remember what it is? The link that you
Yeah,
shared that
yes, I did give a gift of a business performance assessment checklist. So for
okay.
me, I focus on business processes, systems, and automation. That's where I
Mhm.
channel my gift and use in order for people to be able to build that client stewardship. So I kind of gave people a little bit of a summary of the things that I focus on, whether it be, for example, standard operating procedures, and what I really want people to use it for. So go use the checklist that I've given to all three of those areas there to really
Okay.
determine if their systems are at the best that they should be at. And if they're not, you definitely need to ask yourself some questions on how you can be doing to rectify that, because I'm assuming if some of those things are not where they should be at, you're probably feeling stressed, distressed, whatever the case may be, probably, as Brenda mentioned before, on the verge of burnout. So that is my gift to you. If you guys have any questions, honestly, feel free to reach out. I don't mind answering questions. Like, when I tell you I'm passionate about this stuff, I really am passionate, because to me, I want you to be successful.
I love it. So we'll make sure that we have the link
Yeah,
to that
perfect.
movie
Thank you so much.
gift that you've
Thank you
given.
so much for sharing that.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait to look at it myself. One last question for you before we sign off. If I was to give you a billboard and you could put anything on it and it could be anywhere in the world, what would it say and where would you put it?
Wow. What I would put on the billboard is, what do you want to be remembered for?
Mm,
What do you want to be remembered for? And where would I put it? I put it, honestly, I would put it in every downtown area of every city and every continent, because I feel like it should be a center point in a downtown area of, what do you want to be remembered for?
yeah. Well, I was going to say for you because you're in Ontario, but like the 401
The
somewhere,
ones?
right? You know.
No, because I feel like we're all connected, whether we're in the same province, like even you're in
Yeah.
Vancouver, but you know what? Everywhere, every downtown area and every locality that I could possibly think of across this world, of what do you want to be remembered for? And I think that goes back to what I was saying, there's power in numbers. And I feel like crossing over, sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah. So important because it's easy right now whether wherever you are in the world, but there's obviously things that are pressing on your
Yeah,
mind, on your worries, on your fears, on your concerns, and so that's immediate. It's like right there in your face, but there is tomorrow. You will get through it. We
exactly.
will prevail. And so what do you want to be remembered for, and start living
Yeah,
that too.
exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
awesome. It's been so great having you on today. Thank you
No,
so
thank you
much.
so much, Brenda. I'm so happy that we've had this finally this opportunity to connect, especially
Yeah.
like beside past LinkedIn, and I look forward to possibly further collaborations together. And thank you to your community for the time that you spent with me today. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And everybody that's tuning in today, thanks so much for listening. And make sure you check out the show notes to be able to connect with Tovey. We can't wait to see those connections happening. Take care, everyone.
Take care, everybody.